The Mission Impossible franchise has been around since 1996. It has changed through so many different directors. It has stood the test of time. And minus Mission Impossible 2, it's been an extremely wonderful, exciting, thrilling, action-packed franchise. And of course, Tom Cruise's baby all the way through. And much like the John Wick franchise, and unlike the Fast and Furious franchise, it only seems that the more that we get, the better each one gets too. Especially with these last few, an argument can be made for Mission Impossible 3. Really kind of starts with Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol though, where we have a Daniel Craig Bond situation, where we have a through line. We have a story that really starts to take shape the whole way through, going from arguments for 3, really 4, 5, 6, and now with 7, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Now with that being said, you're probably sitting there asking yourself, well, do I need to go back and seriously rewatch the past 6 movies? It's in your best interest, honestly. It really is, because it's a great franchise, it's a lot of fun, and of course, you'll catch the little bits and pieces here and there, but if we're talking about required viewing, Mission Impossible 1, I was shocked and blown away by how much they referenced that first movie. And then, to be completely honest with you, you can bypass 3, you can bypass 4, but you gotta pick up with 5, and you gotta absolutely watch 6. 1, 5, 6 are so crucial to really getting the full scope of what this movie is about. Now granted, if you choose not to, you're still gonna have one hell of a time, because Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a fantastic movie all by itself. It tells, of course, a continuing story that can function as a one-off. It shares a lot in common with something like Infinity War, or even this year's Across the Spider-Verse, in that, yes, it's a part 1. We know we have a part 2 coming. It even says end part 1 at the start of the credits. Even if you didn't have that tag there, even if it stood by itself, this does function exceptionally, unbelievably well as a standalone Mission Impossible movie, a standalone action movie, a standalone spy thriller. And that is just the beauty of writer-director Christopher McQuarrie's brain. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows what makes characters tick. He knows what makes them interesting. He knows that action beats need to help fuel the plot, not the other way around. And it's wonderful. I mean, this is a fantastic movie. It's incredible that the franchise is continuing to evolve. And that's the whole point of this movie here. The threats are ever evolving. We go from something simple with floppy disks in Mission Impossible 1 to the threat that we're at with right now. Minor spoilers, the big threat here is AI. Now, yes, you might be rolling your eyes. Oh, great, we got another AI situation. Not like this. You haven't seen an AI like this. When I say that the AI in this movie is unpredictable, when I say that the story turns that it takes are equally as unpredictable, I mean it. You're not going to know where it's going one way or the other. This movie has a lot of twists, has a lot of turns, and they hold up extremely well. Now, of course, maybe, with repeat viewings, they might start to unfold just a little bit. That new movie high might wear off. I got a really sneaking suspicion that it's not going to wear off at all. Because if that were the case, Edge of Tomorrow, also written by Christopher McQuarrie, would have wore off as well. Here we are, almost a decade later, and guess what? It hasn't. Now, when you start to get so many movies into a franchise, so many installments into a franchise, there is that fear of being stale. Not just on the writing side or the plot side or the action side, but the acting side as well, especially when you start to have these people back more and more and more and more and more. But what we have here is a nice progression of everybody. Luther, I love what we have going on with Luther. He's getting more and more and more and more and more to do as these movies progress. He's no longer just the man in the chair. He is now he's not just Ethan's Jiminy Cricket, he is Ethan's best friend, his oldest friend, the number one friend that he can trust. And Ving Rhames does an exceptional job here. He's really like the dad of the group, just kind of being that wise soul, just bringing everybody together, telling them how it is, and setting people straight when they need to hear it the most. Simon Pegg does a great job. Now, yeah, Simon Pegg is Benji. He does have the laughs. He does have some comedic moments. But I like how he's more in the field. It's what he asked for. It's what he wanted. And you would think after the events of Mission Impossible Fallout, the last one, basically almost dying, that he would try to, kind of fall back a little bit, but he dives right into the action. He's right there front and center. And it's great. I love that progression of if this is what they need from me, if they can trust me this much, then I need to be able to trust myself to go and actually deliver for them as well. Rebecca Ferguson, she's back from the last 2 movies, and she is magnetic on the screen. I don't know if it's her eyes or just the way that she carries herself. You believe everything that Elsa says. You believe everything that Elsa does. And she is wonderful and she's fantastic. And then of course, you've got Tom Cruise. I mean, look, you either like Tom Cruise as an actor or you don't like Tom Cruise as an actor. We ain't taking any of his personal life into account here because this is just the acting ability. But this is a side of Ethan that we have not yet fully seen before. We are seeing bits and pieces through the other movies, especially these past few, again, kind of starting with 4, but then bleeding in more, 5, 6. That argument could be made for 3. But we're getting more of Ethan, not the super spy, but more of Ethan, the mortal human. Now, with the feelings and the emotions, and it's wonderful to see Tom Cruise peel back those layers. You can see that, his days of being happy-go-lucky, we're going to wing it, we're going to be fine. That's not going to last much longer. Time is not on his side here. Tom Cruise sells it so well, just like he sells the action. This man's getting up there, and just the stunts that he does are amazing, and they are incredible. Whether it's the driving scene with Haley Atwell when they are skidding around in these old cobblestone streets in a Fiat, or he is zipping along on a dirt bike before he takes a leap of faith off the side of a cliff in a nice winter, or he's messing around, hopping around on train cars and everything. I mean, the man's incredible. He doesn't miss a beat. He is fully committed 150% to his craft, and it comes through beautifully. He is magnetic on the screen. You believe that this man is Ethan Hunt. He probably believes he's Ethan Hunt, and we're all the better off for it. Now, I would be remiss and extremely disrespectful if I did not take at least a little bit of time to shout out our newcomers. We have Haley Atwell, who I'm not going to give much about her character, because from what I saw in the first trailer, and I avoided the others, the marketing has done a wonderful job of really just kind of keeping things on a hush-hush about her character. This is the first time we've seen a character like this, okay? I'm not going to go into many more details besides that. It's the first time we've seen a character like this in this kind of capacity, but she does a great job. She sells the action extremely well. She is also equally as magnetic as Tom Cruise, and it just, by the time the movie's over, you really just sit there and you're asking yourself, why do we not have her in more stuff? Because she is incredible, and we need her in more stuff. We have some other supporting players in here as well. Now, on those tokens, I'm actually going to keep a little hush-hush about that. I won't even mention them by name, but we do have a brand new human bad guy, of course. We do have the human bad guy's hench person as well. And then, of course, we have some shady government folk. Maybe they're good, maybe they're bad. Everybody plays their part really well. You can tell that they all have their own personalities. They really fleshed out these characters. Whether or not they even have a lot of dialogue, everybody is at the top of their game when it comes to this movie. And again, we are 7 movies into this franchise and they are still delivering hits like this. Is astonishing. It's incredible. As I've been touching on bits and pieces, the action is fantastic, but of course, what's an action scene without the power of wonderful music? Now, we have Warren Baff, who is providing the music here, and it's the music is incredible. They know exactly when to use the music, when not to use the music, and then it just really ratchets up the tension, or it keeps you just invested the entire time that the actions or the chase scenes are taking place. As you can probably tell, I love this movie. I love the Mission Impossible franchise. It's been fantastic, -2. This is a great movie. This is a great installment. Again, it functions on its own. Now, the fan event was in IMAX, but there was no expanded aspect ratio. I will be honest with you. A little disappointed in that, not gonna lie. However, it did not dampen the excitement and the enjoyment in the slightest, because you pick the right seat in IMAX and you have the action there in your face, and it helps that they did, I want to say, 98% of this practically. So you are there in the action. You're feeling it when Tom Cruise is jetting off that cliffside on his bike, or you're on a train that's like a bat out of hell. I mean, you feel like you are there in the action, which is, again, just a huge compliment to the cinematographer, a huge compliment to Christopher McQuarrie's direction. It also wouldn't be a Paramount fan event without a one-sheet poster like we got here. And this thing's great. This is a beautiful poster. I can't wait to get this up on the wall. Don't tell Mrs. Stocko. We have our Impossible Mission Force pin. And this is a beautiful looking pin. It's very professional, right? It looks like it's something that they would wear in the IMF. And then, of course, the backing card on that features one of the most incredible stunts in the entire franchise. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is officially out in theaters in some capacity, whether it's limited Tuesday night screenings or official wide release on Wednesday. It is out. I highly, highly recommend you go out and see this on the biggest screen humanly possible. If you had a chance to check this out, let me know down in the comments below if this has swayed you one way or the other. Let me know that too, or if you think this franchise is garbage and why do we even have it anymore? Because why not? Until next time, guys, I've been VHS Taco signing off, reminding you your mission, should you choose to accept it, and you should, is to go see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Adios.